In a vast, sparkling hall of the Zalthor Empire, lights danced across the walls, creating a kaleidoscope of colors. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement as thousands of aliens gathered to celebrate their recent victory over the rival Krovian faction. Today was not just any day, it was a day of glory, a day to remember. The leader of the Zalthor Empire, Grand Marshal Thryon, stood tall on a grand stage, his golden robes flowing like water. His long blue antennae twitched with energy as he raised his arms, welcoming the crowd. "Today we celebrate our strength! Today we show the galaxy who we are!" His voice boomed through the hall, sending waves of cheer through the crowd. Colorful banners hung from the ceiling, each one telling the story of their triumph. Tables filled with delicious food lined the walls with sweet fruits and savory dishes from all corners of the empire. The smell of roasted meats and exotic spices filled the air, making mouths water. Joyful music played, and dancers performed in elaborate costumes, showcasing the vibrant culture of the Zalthor. The crowd was a sea of colorful faces, with creatures of all shapes and sizes cheering for their leader. They clapped and shouted, raising their glasses filled with glowing drinks to toast to their victory. Laughter echoed as friends hugged and celebrated, filled with pride and joy. As the festivities continued, Thryon took a moment to scan the crowd. He noticed Commander Vela, a fierce warrior known for her bravery. She stood with a group of soldiers, sharing stories of the battle they had just won. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she recounted how they outsmarted the Krovian forces. The soldiers around her laughed and cheered, their spirits high. But not everyone was filled with joy. In the shadows, a few officers whispered among themselves, sharing strange news. "I heard the humans are getting closer to our borders," one officer said quietly. "Some say they're planning something big." The others exchanged nervous glances, but their voices were lost in the festive sounds of the celebration. Back on stage, Thryon continued his speech, unaware of the tension brewing beneath the surface. "Let us not forget the sacrifices made for this victory," he called out, raising his glass high. "We stand united as one. No one can challenge our might." The crowd erupted in cheers, their worries pushed aside for the moment. As the night wore on, the celebrations reached new heights. Fireworks lit up the sky outside, exploding in brilliant colors that reflected in the eyes of the excited crowd. The dancers moved gracefully, twirling and leaping in time with the music, capturing the essence of joy and victory. However, deep down, a sense of unease lingered among a few. The officers who had whispered earlier exchanged worried looks, wondering if their leader was right to ignore the rumors. The Krovian faction was defeated, but the thought of humans approaching their territory sparked doubt. The humans were known for their unpredictable nature, and the last thing anyone wanted was another war. Yet for now, the Zalthor Empire basked in its victory. The cheers, the laughter, and the music drowned out the unease that crept into the minds of some. It was a night to remember, a night filled with hope and pride. The Empire believed it had secured its place as the most powerful force in the galaxy, ready to face any challenge that lay ahead. As the celebration continued, the distant sounds of drums and flutes played on, wrapping everyone in a warm embrace of joy. Little did they know, the true test of their strength was just beginning. The humans, with their fierce spirit and determination, were on the way, and they would soon bring a new challenge that no one in the Zalthor Empire could have anticipated. The night of celebration would soon turn into a night of dread. But for now, the Zalthor Empire danced, laughed, and celebrated their hard-won victory, believing that nothing could stand in their way. The grand celebration continued late into the night, filled with music, laughter, and the delicious aroma of food. The hall of the Zalthor Empire was alive with joy, but outside the stars twinkled quietly, hiding the tension brewing in the galaxy. As the festivities progressed, Grand Marshal Thryon enjoyed the adoration of his people. He basked in the glory of their victory, feeling powerful and invincible. But in a dark corner of the hall, a group of worried officers huddled together, their faces drawn with concern. "I can't shake off the feeling that something is wrong," whispered Commander Vela, her eyes darting toward the bright lights of the celebration. "I heard reports that human ships have been spotted near our borders. We should take this seriously." Another officer, Commander Zarek, shook his head. "We just defeated the Krovians. The humans won't dare to challenge us now." We're too strong! His tone was confident, but doubt flickered in his eyes. Before they could discuss further, a loud siren suddenly blared through the hall, cutting through the joyful sounds like a knife. The music stopped and conversations faded as everyone turned to look at the large screen hanging above the stage. The screen flickered, and a stern-looking officer appeared, his face tense and serious. "Attention, citizens of the Zalthor Empire," the officer's voice boomed. "We interrupt this celebration with urgent news. A human fleet is approaching our territory at high speed." Gasps filled the hall. The joyful cheers turned to hushed whispers of fear and confusion. Thrayon stepped forward, his expression shifting from pride to shock. "What do you mean a human fleet?" he demanded, his voice laced with disbelief. The officer continued. "Scouts report that the fleet consists of several large ships heavily armed and moving quickly. They have not responded to our communications. We believe they are heading directly for us." Panic rippled through the crowd. Aliens exchanged worried glances, the earlier joy evaporating like mist. The hall that had been filled with laughter now buzzed with fear and uncertainty. Thrayon tried to regain control. "This is just a misunderstanding. We are the Zalthor Empire. We will not be intimidated by anyone, especially not humans," he declared, but his voice lacked its usual confidence. As the crowd murmured, Vela stood tall. "We should prepare our defenses. We cannot take this lightly. Humans are unpredictable. They might be coming to challenge us." Her words cut through the panic, bringing a sense of urgency to the room. Zarek frowned. "But we just won a great victory. Surely they wouldn't be foolish enough to attack us now," he protested. But deep down, he knew Vela was right. The atmosphere in the hall shifted dramatically. Soldiers began to gather, their faces set with determination. The celebration that had once brought everyone together was now overshadowed by fear of an incoming threat. Thrayon realized he had to act quickly. "All military units prepare for potential battle. We will show these humans that we will not back down." Outside, the night was still and quiet, but inside the hall, tension filled the air. The once jubilant mood was replaced by a sense of dread. Thrayon's mind raced as he tried to think of a plan. He had always believed that the Zalthor Empire was the strongest, but the thought of humans approaching their borders sent shivers down his spine. As the officers moved to implement their battle plans, whispers of fear spread among the civilians. "What if the humans come to destroy us?" one alien asked. "What if they want revenge?" another whispered. Thrayon looked around at his people, their faces pale with worry. He knew he had to reassure them. "We will defend our empire with all our might," he shouted, trying to rally their spirits. "We have faced many enemies, and we will not let fear win." But deep inside, he felt a flicker of doubt. The humans were known for their courage and fierce determination. This was not just any fight, it was a clash between two powerful forces. As the Zalthor Empire prepared for battle, the celebration they had once enjoyed felt like a distant memory. The night that began with joy was now shrouded in fear and uncertainty. The humans were coming, and no one knew what to expect. Would this be the end of their glorious empire, or the beginning of a new era? Only time would tell. The Zalthor Empire was on high alert. Soldiers rushed through the grand hall, gathering weapons and preparing for the unexpected arrival of the human fleet. The earlier celebration was forgotten, replaced by a cold tension that gripped everyone. Grand Marshal Thrayon stood at the front, his heart pounding as he tried to maintain a sense of calm. "Commander Vela, what's the status of our defenses?" Thrayon asked, trying to sound authoritative despite his growing anxiety. Vela, her face serious, responded, "We've activated the defense shields and all fighters are on standby, but we need more information about the human fleet. We cannot underestimate them." Outside the massive windows of the hall, the night sky was slowly filled with the distant shapes of ships. Tiny points of light flickered like stars, and as they grew closer, the figures of the human vessels became clear. They were battered and worn, their hulls scarred from previous battles, yet they moved with an undeniable determination. "Look! They are coming!" one of the soldiers shouted, pointing toward the sky. A murmur ran through the crowd as everyone turned to face the approaching fleet. The sight of the human ships was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. There were several large vessels, all heading toward the Zalthor Empire with relentless speed. The humans had come, and they were not backing down. As the ships drew nearer, Thrayon could see their markings. They were symbols of courage and resilience, each ship a testament to the human spirit. "Prepare to engage!" he shouted, his voice firm. We will not let them enter our space unchallenged. The sound of alarms filled the air as the soldiers scrambled to their positions. The control room buzzed with activity as officers relayed orders and updated the situation. Vela stood by Thrion's side, her eyes fixed on the human fleet. They looked damaged but ready for a fight. They must have come to prove something. Just then, a booming voice echoed across the communication system. It was a human commander, his voice clear and loud. "Zalthor Empire! We come in peace! We do not seek war, but we will defend ourselves if provoked." The message sent a wave of shock through the Zalthor forces. "They want peace?" Thryon said, frowning. "Why would they approach us like this after everything?" "Humans are unpredictable," Vela replied, her expression thoughtful. "They might be trying to catch us off guard. We must be ready for anything." As the human ships entered the Zalthor atmosphere, the tension reached a boiling point. Fighters launched into the sky, circling around the human vessels like angry hornets. The humans, however, showed no signs of fear. They maintained their formation, their ships moving as one powerful unit. Suddenly, the lead ship fired a warning shot, bright and blazing, illuminating the dark night. The Zalthor forces gasped and Thrion's heart raced. "What are they doing? We haven't even fired yet," he exclaimed. Vela quickly responded, "They are asserting their strength. They want us to know they are not afraid." The warning shot flew past the Zalthor ships, leaving a trail of fire in its wake. It landed harmlessly in the distance, but the message was clear: the humans were not backing down. Thryon took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. "Hold your fire! Let's see what they want first. We don't need to escalate this situation any further." His command sent a ripple of confusion through the soldiers. The human ships continued to advance, but instead of attacking, they slowed down and hovered in front of the Zalthor Empire's main base. A screen lit up on the lead ship, revealing the human commander. He looked rugged, with a determined expression on his face. "We wish to speak," he said, his voice steady. "Let us discuss a way forward. We do not desire war, but will not shy away from it if you force us." The Zalthor soldiers exchanged uneasy glances. This was not what they expected. Thryon felt a mix of fear and curiosity. The humans were different from the Krovian enemies they had faced before. They were not just warriors, they were strategists, ready to negotiate, yet willing to fight. As the situation unfolded, the Zalthor Empire faced a crucial choice. Would they accept the humans' offer for peace, or would they allow pride to lead them into battle? The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air as both sides prepared for what came next, the tension thicker than ever. The celebration had turned into a nightmare, and now the real battle was about to begin, not just in the sky, but in the hearts of those who had once believed they were unbeatable. Would they choose to fight, or would they find a way to coexist? Only time would tell. The atmosphere in the Zalthor Empire was thick with tension, as Grand Marshal Thryon and his officers watched the human fleet hover ominously before them. The air was electric with uncertainty. Would the humans bring war, or would they find common ground? As Thryon considered the options, Commander Vela leaned closer to him. "We cannot underestimate them, Grand Marshal. Humans are known for their clever tactics. They might have a plan to trick us." Thryon nodded, but he was determined to stay strong. "We must remain vigilant. If they wish to negotiate, we must hear them out. But let's keep our weapons ready." On the lead human ship, Commander Brooks stood at the helm, his eyes focused and sharp. He had witnessed the Zalthor forces prepare for battle and understood the danger of their situation. The Zalthor Empire was powerful, but humanity had its own strengths, creativity, and the ability to adapt quickly. "Prepare the holographic display," Brooks ordered his crew. "We need to show them our intentions clearly." The crew worked swiftly, and soon a large projection appeared in front of the Zalthor ships, displaying images of Earth and humanity's many achievements. "Zalthor Empire!" Brooks's voice boomed through the communication system. "We are here not to fight, but to find a way to coexist. Look at what we have built together as a species. We have technology, art, culture. We are more than warriors!" The images showed peaceful scenes, human families, technological advancements, and the beauty of Earth. The Zalthor soldiers were taken aback. They expected a display of military power, not a showcase of humanity's achievements. Thryon exchanged glances with Vela, both of them puzzled. "What are they trying to achieve?" Thryon wondered aloud. Vela responded, "They want us to see them as more than just fighters. They are showing us their strengths, hoping to win us over without bloodshed." It's clever, and it could work. Brooks continued. We understand you have just won a great victory, but that does not mean you are invincible. Every empire can fall if they choose to fight unnecessarily. Let us talk and find a better path forward. In the Zalthor command room, officers were divided. Some believed they should attack the humans to show strength, while others thought it wise to listen. The debate grew heated, but Thrayon raised his hand for silence. We will hear them out, he decided. We cannot afford to make a mistake. We must be smart in this situation. The communication continued, and Brooks pressed on. We come to you with an offer. We want to form an alliance. Together we can explore the galaxy and face threats greater than ourselves. But if you choose to attack us, you will only invite destruction upon yourselves. We will defend ourselves fiercely. The Zalthor Empire was known for its might, but the idea of forming an alliance with humans was a bold move. Thrayon considered the implications. Joining forces could strengthen them against other potential enemies, but could he trust the humans? We will need time to discuss, Thrayon replied, trying to sound confident. But know this. We will not be easily swayed by your words alone. Of course, Brooks replied. Take your time. But remember, the longer you wait, the more chances we have to grow stronger. We are prepared for any outcome, and we won't hesitate to defend ourselves if necessary. As the humans maintained their position, Vela suggested, we should send a scout ship to investigate their fleet. If they are truly serious about peace, we will find out soon enough. Thrayon nodded in agreement. The Zalthor scout ship launched into the night, gliding silently toward the human vessels. As it neared, the crew activated their sensors, gathering data about the ships. They saw that the humans were well-equipped but also vulnerable. The scout reported back to Thrayon, confirming that the humans were not bluffing. The news spread through the Zalthor ranks, igniting hope and fear. They are not here to fight blindly, Thrayon announced to his officers. They have a plan, and we need to respond wisely. Perhaps it is time to consider Brooks's offer seriously. We may find an ally in our greatest enemy. As the humans awaited a response, the Zalthor Empire stood at a crossroads. Would they cling to their pride and risk everything in a fight? Or would they choose to be clever like the humans and seek a path to peace? The future of both empires hung in the balance, and the clever tactics of humanity had shifted the tide of the conflict. Now it was up to the Zalthor to decide their fate. The tension in the Zalthor Empire had reached its peak. Grand Marshal Thrayon stood in the command room, surrounded by his top officers. The human fleet hovered just outside their main base, waiting for a response. Thrayon could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him. The fate of both empires was in his hands. We have deliberated long enough, Thrayon announced, his voice steady. It is time to respond to the humans. We either accept their offer of alliance or prepare for battle. The room fell silent as the officers exchanged glances, uncertainty hanging in the air. Commander Vela stepped forward, her face serious. Grand Marshal, we have seen their tactics. The humans are clever and adaptable. If we choose to fight, we must be ready for anything. But if we accept their offer, we might gain a powerful ally. Thrayon nodded, deep in thought. But can we trust them? They come to us after years of conflict. How do we know they will not turn against us later? Just then, the communication system crackled to life. Commander Brooks's voice filled the room, strong and clear. Zalthor Empire! We await your decision. Time is running out. If you choose war, we will fight. But if you choose peace, we will stand together against any enemy. Thrayon felt a surge of frustration. The humans were putting pressure on him, but perhaps that was part of their strategy. He took a deep breath and addressed his officers. Let us send a message. We will give them our answer. With a heavy heart, Thrayon composed a response. Commander Brooks, we have decided to accept your offer of alliance. But know this, if you betray us, we will not hesitate to defend our empire. The silence that followed was intense. Then Brooks replied, relief evident in his voice. Thank you, Grand Marshal. Together, we will be stronger. We will not betray your trust. As the Zalthor forces prepared to establish a formal alliance, the atmosphere shifted from fear to cautious optimism. The soldiers watched as human ships began to lower their weapons, showing goodwill. It was a moment of unity, a promise to work together for a better future. However, the peace was short-lived. Suddenly, alarms blared across the command room. Incoming ships! An officer shouted. A massive fleet is approaching, and they are hostile. Thrayon's heart sank. Who are they? He demanded. Unknown, came the frantic reply. They are not responding to our signals. The screens flickered with images of dark, ominous ships moving swiftly through space. They bore no insignia, and their intent was clear: they had come to destroy. "Prepare for battle!" Thryon shouted, adrenaline coursing through his veins. "We cannot let them attack our home. Commander Brooks, we need your fleet." Brooks's voice came through urgently. "We are ready, Grand Marshal. We will fight alongside you. Humanity will not back down." The Zalthor forces moved into formation, their fighters launching into the dark expanse of space. The humans followed, their ships maneuvering with surprising agility. Thryon felt a rush of determination. They were not alone anymore. As the enemy fleet drew closer, Thryon could see their weapons charging. "Fire at will!" he commanded, and the Zalthor ships opened fire, their lasers slicing through the darkness. The humans joined in, their ships darting and weaving as they unleashed their own firepower. The battle was fierce. Bright explosions lit up the night sky as the two forces clashed. The Zalthor soldiers fought valiantly, their skills honed from years of training, while the humans brought creativity and unexpected tactics to the fight. "Watch their flanks!" Vela shouted, guiding her troops. "We must work together to outmaneuver them." Thryon fought alongside his men, his heart pounding as he navigated through the chaos. The enemy was strong, but the combined might of the Zalthor Empire and humanity began to turn the tide. With every shot fired, their unity grew stronger. In the heat of battle, Thryon caught sight of Brooks, commanding his ship with passion. The human commander rallied his crew, pushing them to fight harder. "For peace, for our future," Brooks shouted, inspiring everyone around him. As the fight raged on, the enemy fleet started to falter. The Zalthor and human ships moved in perfect harmony, flanking the enemy and striking with precision. With a final push, they overwhelmed the dark ships, sending them retreating into the void. Cheers erupted throughout both fleets as the last enemy ship fled. The Zalthor soldiers and humans had fought together and emerged victorious. The alliance had proven strong in battle, and a new chapter began. Breathless and filled with adrenaline, Thryon looked at Brooks, who smiled back with determination. "We did it, Grand Marshal. Together we are unstoppable." "Indeed," Thryon replied, feeling a sense of hope blossom in his heart. "Today we proved that we can stand united against any threat. This victory marks the beginning of a new era for both our empires." As they floated in the aftermath of the battle, the stars sparkled brightly overhead, symbolizing a hopeful future. The Zalthor Empire and humanity had faced their fears, and now they were ready to explore the unknown together, stronger than ever before.